2013 event. Let's do this, guys. Spawning in the bottom left position as the blue Protoss player coming in from the recently pumped up XMG. It is ToD. And spawning in the top right position as our purple Zerg player. Currently teamless, it is Forsen. So another wonderful day of StarCraft here. Welcome, guys, to the DreamHack Open. I am so excited to cast so many of these games. This is going to be an absolutely amazing day of StarCraft action, and I just cannot wait to get through here. We have a pretty fast pylon for ToD on the low ground, so it does look like, to kick things off here, we're not going to have anything too ridiculous. PvZ, of course, in Heart of the Swarm, pretty standard. A lot of the builds have levelized, become very normal. For at least the early stages of the game, we still see a large number of Forge Fast Expands, and we also see a pretty large number of 15 spawning pools as well. So we'll have to see if either of these guys have any tricks up their sleeve. I believe ToD mentioning before the game this could be the show match between douchebags here. So definitely already some experience these players do have with each other, and we do have a spawning pool going down, relatively normally timed for Forsen. And in all honesty, you know, starting off a match like this, to kick off a tournament like this in this group, it's definitely going to be, ooh, anything goes. And there that pylon is, but Forsen opening with the spawning pool should be able to deal with this pretty well. ToD, he is getting a Forge behind this. He's not going for anything like a Nexus first. He can still get a pretty quick Nexus follow-up, but he's not super worried about getting his economy as fast as he can. Just wants to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard by these Zerglings, and we do have 4 of them on the way. He's trying to deny the third base as well, and he'll throw down another pylon. A pretty big investment here from our French Protoss player. Really just really denying the economy as much as possible, and this can be a bit tricky when it comes to having proper adequate defenses set up to deal with this. But since he's blocked both of them, he actually cancels the second one. He wants to just he drove the drone away, so he was willing to cancel that, and he's going to throw up cannon now, gateway, and just get the rest of his wall set up. Putting the cannon in front of the wall for now. I imagine he's going to put a cybernetics core right in front of it. Not actually a very standard wall that we've seen on this map, but maybe he's had a lot of success with it. We will have to see, guys. If you're not too familiar with ToD, know him a little bit better. He's actually just been casting WCS Europe very recently, so formerly of Root Gaming as well, and just kind of got a lot more into the casting stuff lately. But always good to see players coming out here for these open events. And, well, 2 hatcheries on the way for Forsen. So his hatcheries were delayed a little bit. He did take a gas geyser to complement this spawning pool. So he could be looking to put on a bit of pressure, but with 2 hatcheries, it's not quite as likely he's going to try anything crazy. He can just, of course, skip getting drones and go for a big attack, but the wall is now pretty much complete. Cybernetics core in front of this photon cannon. Needs to be careful. Cannon is attacking these rocks. There are 6 lings that would probably love to try to run by that at some point. We do have Zergling speed now coming in for Forsen as well, and nothing really set in stone yet. Cybernetics core is complete, so we'll see what kind of tech option ToD wants to go for. Most common in Protoss versus Zerg will be the Stargate, and he is looks like that probe's going to build it down here. It's going to be a robotics facility, so it's not the fastest robotics facility ever. He didn't go for anything like a Nexus first. He delayed a tiny bit of his economy, so not things won't be up as fast as possible. Now, a couple of things that ToD can do: take fast gas geysers in his natural, possibly go for 2-base Sentry Immortal play. Definitely still a very powerful, potent build in Heart of the Swarm Stalker for ToD, going to push away Forsen's Overlord. Now, Forsen is aware of the robotics facility, so he is not going to be completely surprised by what comes out of ToD. Typically speaking, we do see either robotics facility for pressure or a Stargate to get Phoenix out and put pressure on and I should say a different way. But now the robo is complete. He's actually starting an immortal, a tiny bit of a supply block here. Is now going to get his first immortal coming out. So this could actually be a very fast timing with this with immortals and sentries to possibly go for a push. He's actually already put out a sentry. He's blocking the wall with the stalker, so he didn't want to get a fast zealot. Adding on 2 gateways now. Of course, we'll know how much pressure he really wants to put on based on the number of gateways he builds. He's currently at 3 of them, building 1 back into his main base. 5 is a lot of pressure. 4 is pretty standard. Something like 6 or 7, we could be looking at an all-in, especially 8. But a second immortal being chrono boosted out now. So ToD really just cranking out a lot of units. And on this map, it can be very difficult to get a third base due to the large number of open space surrounding the upper areas as well as the lower areas. Multiple angles of attack, and even then, just getting your army between your natural and your third can be so difficult with all of the space on the map. But Forsen already has his third base set up. He's droning up quite nicely, actually getting a lair, which will be done very soon. And he's actually taking the rest of the gas in his natural, so we could see him throw down something like a Spire or a Hydralisk Den. And it will be a Hydralisk Den. He has the +1 missile attacks going for his Zerg upgrades on his evolution chambers, as well as his Carapace. And this has been a pretty good meta build for dealing with any kind of Stargate play. Now, of course, Hydralisk Zergling is actually really effective versus Sentry Immortal as well, if you can get a good engagement. We're at to see how good of an engagement he's going to be able to get. We do have 3 Immortals now pushing out onto the field. Warp Prism will be following this up. He's added on quite a few gateways as we speak as well. So he's actually at 7 now. This is looking like the Immortal Sentry push that has plagued Zerg for quite some time now, since really being pushed in the Korean scene by Startail Squirtle and formerly Startail Parting. And I have to say, ToD's execution not terrible. He will be arriving at his opponent's base around 11 minutes, depending on if anything will slow him down on his way there. Now, Forsen to deal with this, he's going to need really good arcs, really good angles of engagement. And, ToD deciding to change his mind about the direction he's going to head towards. The more time he gives Forsen, the more time Forsen has to build Hydralisks, especially going for the range upgrade. It's going to allow him to shoot over the force fields. There's no creep here, but this could be it. He might just be pushing in right now. Forsen wants to take an engagement on creep by one of his bases, pinches off a couple of Hydralisks with force fields, so really good catch right there for ToD, but Forsen, is he going to try to force it? Could be a bit dangerous. He has the Hydralisk range now, so he is at maximum combat efficiency. The Hydralisk speed could help as well. He's moving in the Zerglings. Keep in mind, these Zealots do have +1. These Zerglings die in 2 hits. Actually, his Carapace is done, so he will be a little bit more hardy. The Hydra's trying to get as much damage as possible, but force fields them off. These drones will have to run away with the Queen. At third base for Forsen is going to die. And just so many sentries here for ToD. He's got so many force fields available to him to just pinch this army into pieces. Really nice save though, keeping the drones alive. You can lose the hatchery pretty comfortably sometimes when you're in these situations in Zerg versus Protoss, but keeping the drones, if he can survive this attack, he will have still a good amount of economy to fall behind on. Trying to catch more of the Hydralisks with force fields, and at this point, Forsen has a very formidable force. He is going to also be starting his muscular augments. That's the Hydralisk speed upgrade, and even if ToD gets into a large amount of trouble, he can always just use the mass recall to get out of there on his mothership core. He of course also has access to time warp if he wants to prevent the army from retreating, if he can get good force fields. And behind this, ToD is already looking up at his follow-up, which is just going to be the robotics bay, get a Colossus or 2 to deal with these Hydralisks. And going for a bit of a counterattack is Forsen, but ToD has way too much there to catch that. And Forsen running some Zerglings around. ToD might actually catch these. More free damage done. So not bad at all for ToD. And we actually see Forsen is getting that hatch in the bottom right side. Looking at some numbers, we do have 57 drones to 47 probes, which isn't terrible considering 3 bases versus 2 bases. But Forsen is going to be won to making drones in the near future, just because of the large, powerful army that's on the map right now for ToD. Contamination thrown down on the robotics facility. That's a 30-second delay on this Colossus. Very nice by Forsen to prevent ToD from getting basically what's going to be the most powerful unit to add to his army composition here. And it looks like ToD's going to push without it. He is now moving outside this other third base. How many drones are going to get caught here? There's already a couple, almost 10 of them. And ToD is going to be able to kill this hatchery off. Basically just going to try to keep Forsen on 2 bases forever. But now the Hydralisks are moving in. He has the speed. He's going to get in on top of these units. The force fields have not kept this army away. He's picking off a lot of these units. Mothership Core goes down. More force fields spreading them out, but the arc here is so good. He has the range. Some of these zealots are being chewed through, and once the zealot meat shield is gone, the Hydralisks steal so much DPS to the rest of these units, but now some really good force fields by ToD. He's shoving Forsen back, but it looks like the Hydralisks are going to be able to get him now that there are no more force fields available. He will be able to shove this army back, but has he done enough damage? We have first Colossus, I believe, is on the field. He has the second one coming in now. 2-2 is on the way for Forsen, though. And with no force fields remaining for ToD, if Forsen can catch these units off, oh, he's just giving a lot of chase. He really wants to get those Immortals, but no, he'll be shoved back by the first Colossus. Keep in mind, guys, range is done. But ToD and Forsen are on even economy, no matter what the worker count really at this point, until Forsen can secure his third base. And this just becomes such a difficult thing to do when you are in these situations. So ToD deciding, hey man, I'm just going to take my own third base. I'm not going to worry about this very much, at least. So 2 Colossi on the field now, getting a third one. And this could open up another timing for ToD. Colossi do rip Hydralisks to shreds on a pretty regular basis. We have Forsen moving out with some of his own Hydralisks, but this is going to give ToD a really great advantage. He's already looking really, really nice, being able to save a good chunk of that army. Doesn't want to get into a fight here with ToD. Forsen just going to back off. These 3 Colossi just have so much AoE DPS, and we actually have the 4th base being taken as well by Forsen. ToD, aware of this, clear as day. This Zealot sees the hatchery. These Zerglings are going to go take him out, but ToD, he's moving out again. He has 2 Immortals still mixed into this army. A lot of Zealots to tank, a lot of Stalkers to tank, and 3 Colossi. That's really the sweet number for fighting any number of small units that don't have too many hit points. And now he's positioning himself outside of Forsen's third base. Hydralisks are already in a good arc, but a couple of sentries warped in could change everything. No, the Hydras get a lot of damage in. The problem is he doesn't have too much here to deal with the Colossi. It's just Hydralisks versus this whole army, and ToD, oh goodness, just did so much damage. Hit the tech follow-ups as well, hallucinating some Colossi, and GG. Game 1 is going to go to XMG's ToD. Pretty solid play there from our Protoss player, I have to say. That was pretty brutal. He killed off the bases with not much trouble at all. Oh, that is a bit big, and I do have to say that was just a bit of a steamroll by ToD to kick things off here. There was a bit of banter, so definitely looking for a bit of the grudge points there. So we'll get into our next game as fast as we can. That was pretty good, guys. You're watching the DreamHack Open Stockholm 2013. I'm Nathanias. Don't go anywhere. We'll get you guys in the next game as soon as we can.